Welcome to the Dial for Dollars podcast, where we talk about life insurance, sales, and everything that happens between the first dial and the death benefit. I'm Corey Mitchell. Each week, I sit down with fellow agents, top performers, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders to unpack what actually works to help new agents win faster. Today, we're joined by two guests. I'm going to call them the Young Guns in the title of the show, but we have Jacob Otero and Seann Joseph. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Happy to
Thanks
be
for
here.
having me. Yes, sir.
So, Jacob, let's start with you. I've been kind of following you on social media for longer. Talk to us about how you got into life insurance in the first place and just what got you here.
Yeah, man. Pretty much I got my license back in June. I actually failed the test twice, and then I finally got it on the third time. So I was pretty determined. And so I got my license in June, and then I didn't actually start like actually taking it serious until August. That's when I went full time. And I actually got into it. I remember I went to 8% in 2024, and that's really kind of what like expanded my mindset and really like want to hustle to want to get licensed. And it was my mom. She brought me into it. She kind of showed me the vision. She does a lot of Medicare, health, supplemental, all that. She does that whole side, and I do the life side. So she was like, "Get started in life. We'll have you going here, and then, eventually we'll have you diversify." But yeah, I started in August and been doing it up until now, and it's been pretty good so far. I've been having a lot of fun and a lot of experiences and traveling, seeing a lot of new people. It's been really cool.
Oh, awesome! I've seen some of the numbers you're putting up. That's pretty awesome. Sean, what about you? What brought you here? I think you've had a couple of IMOs, but what? How'd you get here?
Yeah, so I actually got licensed way back in October of 2024.
Mhm.
I started out at IMO where I won't name names, but where usually all the other young guys, young guns they usually go to.
Mhm.
So I started there. Um, yeah, it didn't really click with a lot of kind of the way they were doing things, and that's not to say that everyone is like an evil person, but yeah, I just didn't really align. So I bounced around a little bit and till I landed here in Lasting Mark under Dana and Caden's team. So I didn't really get too serious until got fully contracted with them. So really, beginning of April, I've been here and yeah, been trying to sell ever since.
Nice. Yeah, you kind of bring up a good point. You didn't really click with the young guys who were there. That's really kind of the whole purpose. There's a lot of bro culture and like partying. This is like to get rich quick scheme. And what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, is it a great get rich quick scheme?
I mean, personally, I think it's just an attractive way to get people into the industry. And it's definitely grown a lot more, especially nowadays. But it's definitely not, I would say it's not a get quick rich just because like it's a hustle. Like you have to be willing to show up, sacrifice some stuff, and actually put in the work. Because sure, you can start making like you could have a commission here and there, and it's like, oh, you made $1,000, but you need to spend that back into your business because realistically, we all have a business we're trying to grow, and either you could spend it on more leads or you could spend it on a fancy dinner. So it really just like depends on how irresponsible or responsible you want to get with it. But it's not, I think it's more of a long-term thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any thoughts?
That goes with any type of, wealth or trying to, build long-term wealth. It's always going to be long-term, nothing short-term.
Yeah, for sure. Sean, you were gonna say something?
yeah. I 100% agree with what Jacob said. This is a long-term game, and it's not to say that there are people that don't really hit it off, or they do hit it off pretty quick. But yeah, like Jacob said too, this is a business, and are you going to choose to, rent out that fancy supercar or, put money back into, lead investments and whatnot?
Yeah.
So as far as like, yeah, get rich quick scheme, maybe for some people that it just clicks faster than others, but I like Dana says too, when it comes to like building a business, it's going to take time and also developing like the actual skills of like being able to sell and then managing all these like little different things too. So
Yeah. It- Jacob, you said your mom kind of got you into the business. Does she work in the same IMO with you? And are you guys working on like some cross sell, working together on some stuff, or is she in a different area, or what? What's that relationship like?
So, we have pretty much all our majority of our life contracts with Lassie Mark, and then all of our health stuff we do separately with like a it's kind of complicated. It's like a privately owned IMO. It's like an agency owned IMO.
Okay.
And with that, we do like a lot of like cross-selling. We're actually building out like a LOA funnel, which is like having building an LOA team and kind of scaling the Medicare side. So over this summer, I'm gonna get my health license, and then we're gonna kind of work on that and build that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's a good relationship because once I help some final expense clients, then I ask them another question and refer them to my mom and vice versa. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like
But
our deal.
gotcha. And by LOA, you mean line of authority?
No, license
Or-
only agent.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yes. So
Uh,
it's pretty much like a W-2 position where like they're selling Medicare for the
okay.
agency.
Got it.
Mhm.
Um, so when you guys said you were getting into life insurance, what Jacob, I kind of know your answer, but Sean, when you came in, what did your friends and family say about your career choice? Like, did they have any thoughts on that, or have they given you any feedback on sticking with it?
No, nothing in particular. I just tell them like, hey, like, this is something I'm doing now, so I'm trying to sell. They're just like, okay. So nothing,
Oh,
nothing crazy.
gotcha. Yeah. So, what would you say is the biggest advantage to being younger like you guys are? I think, Jacob, I think you're 20, right? Or
I just
21?
turned 21.
Oh, congratulations. And Sean, you're 25 or 20?
25.
Okay. Like, what would you say your biggest advantage is over somebody like me? I've just been in the industry a year and a half, and at this time, well, for about 6 months. But what would you say is your advantage with your age?
Um, you want to go?
I don't know, I was gonna say you go first.
Okay, so I think, I mean, mainly it's time, obviously. I think we have a lot more time and being able to get into it young, it gives us that benefit. And also, I think it's like energy. Oh, am I lagging here?
Looks
There we
like
go.
it. We'll fix it in editing.
Energy. So I think like as a younger person, obviously I think you have a little bit more energy and you kind of are able to sustain longer hours and work harder and I'm not saying that you can't do that as an adult, but as when you're young, you can you can definitely, work a lot harder. So, and if you're building knowledge too at a young age and getting in the right rooms, it could definitely help you, for the years to come
Definitely a
because
lot easier to learn new information in your
Mhm.
20s than it is in your 40s. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
So, how long did it take you guys to make your first sale from the time you started dialing to your first deal?
For me, it was 6 weeks.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I went through. How
I
about you?
I went through similar as well. Like my first sale was my grandma because I wasn't making any sales.
All right.
So I was convincing my grandma to be my first sale because I was like I just need to know what it feels like. I need to like understand like how to go through an application. And at the time I only had one carrier for like I believe it was like a month or 2 months.
Okay.
So and it was SBLI. They don't even have their final expense product anymore.
Yeah,
And that application was it was something, I'll tell you that. But my first month I submitted like 8.8K, which is like I don't consider that great. I definitely wasn't like a hot shot coming like, coming off and just slinging insurance. But it was definitely a struggle for me. Like it was a lot of trial and error in the beginning.
yeah. Takes a while. Did you
Yeah.
did you do any selling it at the other place, Sean, or was this your first taste
No,
of
this
success
is
here?
not, yeah, here at Lasting Mark was where I made my first sale, first few
Okay,
sales.
gotcha. So what's kept you for both of you guys? What kept you going? Because a lot of young guys, if they had zero income for 6 weeks, they'd be out. They'd be done. Just like, this isn't for me. This is bull crap. But like, what kept you going?
No, just knowing that other people have done the thing that you've wanted to do, And that's why it's important to, be in the right rooms with the right people that know what they're doing and can help coach you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I think exactly what Sean said, like literally going to 8% before I even knew anything. Like I remember my mom, she was trying to get me in the industry, and at first I didn't believe any of what she was saying, right? Like I'm a very like stubborn person at heart.
Who's your
And
mom?
yeah, my yeah, so with my mom, like she was trying to show me, and she was like, all right, well, just come to this event with me and they'll show you. And so I finally went and I got in the room and I saw all these people and I was like, holy crap, like it's real. Like
Yeah.
I saw the people on stage, like I think at the time, who was it that I saw? It was this guy. He was in like a tank top and he was like
Oh,
super
Hormozy?
successful.
But
It
I don't know.
wasn't Hermosi. It was one of
Okay.
the, I forgot. He was at the 8% in 2024, but
Okay.
I forgot his name. But I was watching that guy and then a lot of John Wetmore I follow a lot, and I'm like, man, if these guys are doing it, like, shoot, man, I think I can, right?
Yeah.
So I think I just had that vision. It was like, as long as I keep going and I don't quit, and obviously I'm applying myself, then I mean, I'm bound to succeed at one point.
Yeah. How about you, Sean? I mean, you and I have talked about this quite a bit in some of the late night dialing sessions when there's nothing going on. What's kept you going?
Um, yeah, like I said earlier, just knowing that other people have done it, especially working under like Dana and Caden, I've been following their content when I first started getting into this industry because I'm like, I don't really know like what I'm doing and like the people that I was around at the time, like they can only tell you so much, but without like the proper wisdom to put people in the best position. So following their content and kind of aligning myself with like the way they run things, the way they sell. So knowing that they themselves have seen that success and like have done it, it's just like that means that I can do it too if I just follow the steps that they laid out for their agents.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not rocket surgery, like Matt Ryder says. It's there's a process. It's really not that hard, but sometimes we get in our own way, right? Like we're so focused on the script, we're so focused on the app, and what don't we know? But instead of just focusing on what we do know, is that we know more about the product than our clients do, and we're guiding them through a process that's predefined. It's pretty dummy proof, really, if you just stay with it and just get out of your own way, right? Um,
Exactly.
have you guys ever felt like um, your age has actually helped with clients? Has it ever helped connect with the clients because of your age versus somebody else, or have they ever commented on your age during a call, like, "Oh, you sound like really young," or like, how's that? How have those interactions gone for you?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. I'll have one of my other clients, she was telling me how like because I told her how young I was, and she kind of related me to like her daughter and like her sons because they're around the same age. So there's kind of like the almost that motherly and like son dynamic within our conversations, which was nice.
Yeah,
I would say the same. Like every single call, I pretty much get that like every call because I'm sending them my business card. I'm like, okay, so you can verify my information here, and then there's gonna be a nice pretty picture of my face on there. And I usually get like a chuckle out of that, or like they go and actually look at it and they say like I look super young, like, it kind of builds some like a little bit of a connection when they see my face. And and every time they're always saying like I look like 14, 15, whatever. But it kind of helps because like then it kind of builds a little bit of trust and helps with the conversation. So, and they know immediately that I sound young, so
yeah.
it definitely helps, I feel like.
Has that ever hurt your credibility, or is it just a matter of getting through those smokescreen objections and then leading down the process?
For me, I mean, as long as like I will 100% know, they'll know that I know more as soon as I start asking them like the difference between like whole and term life and explaining the difference and accidental and how everything works and how whole life builds cash value, term doesn't. Like as soon as I start giving them the information that they didn't know, then they're like, okay, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
So it's the informational aspect.
Yeah. What's your experience been like, Sean, on that?
Can you say the question again?
Just like how have you been able to build credibility quickly with customers on a call? Or
Yeah, so exactly like what Jacob said too when it comes to like educating clients on like, do you know the difference between like term and whole life? Like do you understand like why term wouldn't be the best fit for your situation? Like why I would recommend a whole life product in that case. So education is definitely a big important part in building that credibility on top of, determining their situation by asking like the right questions of, why are they here? Why do they need it? Who are we looking to protect? All those kinds of things.
okay. Did you guys make any mistakes early on trying to prove yourself in spite of your age, or did that just never really come up for you?
Mm, I
I
mean,
would say I think with the age especially, kind of going back to the earlier question, with the concept of having time as far as building business.
Mhm.
I want to add on to that too and say like, with the amount of time you have, you don't have also like certain limiting beliefs that you would like if you were coming into this business, kind of down the line when you already have, maybe you come out from like a W-2 career, maybe like your blue collar or you come from some other white collar job and you're thinking, oh, you're so used to just working for the paycheck that comes in like twice a month.
Yeah.
And so when you're coming into like sales, a commission only job, you definitely don't have the amount of time or maybe the amount of resources that you would if when you are young, especially like because I live at home currently,
Okay.
while I am trying to build this business. So I do have that level of I have that level of, commitment, maybe someone else that uh they have like a wife and like a couple kids that they wouldn't
Yeah.
have that same level of um yeah, commitment.
Yeah. I mean, that brings up a good point, though. Um, Obviously, when you're younger, you're not flush with cash unless you came from money, and I don't know your situations, but how has that affected your ability to invest in your business and keep keep buying leads and keep finding more prospects to talk to when maybe you don't have a big fat bank account? What's your process been like for that?
well, for me, like I honestly just think back to when I used to work at a coffee shop before this, just for a little money while I was in full-time in school.
Mhm.
And I would get paid bi-weekly and I would get paid like 700 bucks. Like, and that's like, I don't, not enough money. Like it was a 300 something a week. And I would think about that. And then I would think about where I am now. And I'm like, wow, I really am making a lot more money as to how was before. And the way I kind of like manage it, I don't, I'm very frugal. I think it's important, especially when you're starting out your first year. Like you need to be kind of frugal and live on a very light income to be able to invest. Because I think for me, it's just like I really try to spend. Obviously, I don't have any major bills right now. I just have like a car payment and like some other miscellaneous bills. But I really just put all my money, everything that I make, I just put it right back into investments and leads and CRM. And I'm actually um, trying to hire a virtual assistant as well to be able to take a lot of that, focus a lot of my time, not so much on dialing, but more so on, doing the income producing activities, closing deals, and just setting appointments.
Okay.
So,
So you have the VA who's going to be doing some setting for you. Is that kind of what you have? Is that the point, or
yes,
just
so the
okay?
the the whole investing is really just to like I think especially right now, especially if you're a young person, like you just need to invest everything back into the business and not
Mhm.
spend it on anything else.
Yeah. Are
Because
you
it's
stockpiling some
all
cash?
what's that?
Are you kind of stockpiling some reserves too to just kind of give you that cushion so that you can invest more aggressively? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'll stockpile a little bit like and even now like I've been having it all in one account, but now I'm gonna open up a business account so that way I can manage it better.
yeah.
So I do like stockpile a little bit and then but majority of it goes back into investments. I'd say it's like an 80-20 split.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever watched Zach McElwain's cash management philosophy on the Lasting Mark site. Great way for managing money in this business to make sure you have money for taxes and other expenses and leads, and just making sure you don't put yourself in too tight of a pinch because a lot of times people start hiring a VA before they have all their cash flow coming in and they get a little cash poor. So I don't know if you've had a chance to watch that either, Sean, but how are you kind of managing your funds, or what's your kind of um, process for just making sure that you can keep going? And are you investing all of it back into the business too, Sean, or what's your kind of outlook on that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Jacob said, just living like frugally and making sure that, a lot of my dollars are going back into leads, and especially when it comes to because I'm gonna start making that purchase into an ad management campaign.
Okay.
So a lot of those policies that I do make commissions of is going straight back into that. So making sure to live frugally, not spending like a crazy amount, like going out with like friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just making sure like the entire priority, like as of right now, is the business.
Yeah. Do you ever get any crap from your friends like, oh, come on, you can take it off. Let's go. Any, or they just kind of let you be and move on with their own.
They're pretty supportive,
Oh, really?
actually. Yeah.
Awesome. They should come work with you when they see it. Um, so you're moving like to scale my social? Is that the ad campaign you're looking at doing, Sean?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. What's your budget going to be for ads for each week?
Or maybe shoot for around 500 a week.
Okay, right on. What are you doing for leads, Jacob? Are you doing Kaboom or Scale My Social or
I'm doing like these done for you leads with they're like the same people who run Business in a Box
okay?
and Lead to Client CRM. So I've been using them. They're Patrick France uses them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I use them and I just upped my budget actually. So I'm spending like 210 a day now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like
Is
I
it?
said, I put everything back in. Like I
That's
started making some money off of policies and I was like, well, I can't be spending it on going out, so I need to reinvest it.
yeah.
That's what I'm doing. So
So you're getting just bigger, more higher intent leads or higher quality cases, or what's that led to for you? I think leads
it
are the shiniest object in our industry. What's the best lead, right? But
mhm.
what's the outcome been for you? Because I know you were on Kaboom for a while.
I was, yeah.
Okay. Well,
And now I switched to these because I saw some success with other people that are doing them, like Patrick France, Andrew Cubitt, and a couple other people. So I wanted to try them out. And so I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm having a full lead flow of doing 100 leads a week. And I paid, I think it was like 2,000 for the year just for the ad management. And
okay.
then now I just get leads at cost.
Okay.
So it's not too bad of an investment for me.
All right. So leads at cost is $8 to $10 a lead, give or take. Is that about right, or
No,
not sure?
it's a little bit higher than that.
Okay.
It's like probably around I would say 13.
Okay. Still pretty good for a high intent lead that just opted in, basically, right?
Yeah. The only thing it doesn't have, which you can add if you want to, it'd probably be a little more expensive, but like it doesn't have the SMS verified.
Okay.
But you can still there's ways that you can get around that to where, you can make sure you have the right number and everything.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. There's some Google search. There's a true people search. You can look up the phone number and find the person's name. Easy enough,
Hmm.
right? Is that what you're talking about? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
What kind of leads have you been working up until now, Sean? Are you age leads? Like we've done some closer tech leads, dollar
Yeah,
leads, whatever.
started out with aged, started out with yesterday leads, and then transitioned over to the closer tech leads.
Okay.
So it's been a lot of volume as far as like dialing hours go.
Yeah.
Just trying to find that little piece of gold in the ocean,
Yeah.
as I would
Did you
say.
ever did you work on age leads, Jacob, or just kind of stick with where'd you start off doing?
I started on like opt leads.
Okay.
OPT op leads. They were like pretty aged leads, like 90-day leads. And then I got like a couple sales out of those, which it was pretty rough in the beginning. And then I just took a leap and just went to the Kaboom leads.
Okay.
So yeah.
That was that a big catalyst for your, because you kind of shot up pretty quickly then, right? You said 8,800 in the first month, but what'd you do after that?
Then I went up to 16.7 thousand, and then 16.8 thousand in the next month, and then after that it was just 20,000 and up from there.
Nice.
So yeah.
So that's a pretty quick, that's a pretty quick rise. I haven't like my top is or my best is like 13.6 or something like that. And it took me 5 months to get there. So
It's not
um
easy.
yeah, it's not. And you guys, Seann, you said it like bringing old habits with you. I'm an old software engineer. I've run youth sports programs, but never had to sell like this. And I've always, when people call me, even if it's a telemarketer, I'm still nice to them. That's just not the case here. What was your experience when you first started dialing the phones and somebody screamed at you to stop calling them and swore at you? And like, what was that like for you?
Well, for me, I froze up a lot just because I'm not that I'm not that kind of like confrontational person. I'd say I grew up more introverted. So when it comes to, dealing with those kinds of prospects, it definitely freezes you up. So it's been a process of just like learning to unlearn a lot of those yeah, I guess you call it like self-beliefs and
Yeah,
kind of making that transition to learning to be like more authoritative and stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you ever want to quit when when that happened? Either one of you? First time you called somebody, like they just scream at you for, and they just fill out the form, mind you. But did stop calling me, don't waste my time. I never filled that out. Did you ever want to just like, what am I doing? Quit, throw your hands up? What, how'd you guys handle that rejection?
I've had moments where I just felt like I wasn't making progress, and that's what made me want to quit, and that's kind of like where I got in my head about it. But then I like think about it and think about back to where I was. Like I was saying, I was at a coffee shop making 300 bucks a week, and in my head I think that's the alternative. Even if I can go somewhere where I can make better money, I'm thinking about that and how even just one deal I can make that money back in just 1 hour. So, and especially, trying to build a business, like you get in your head a lot, but as long as you like keep going and maybe you just need a break. Sometimes we just need a break. Um, our mind tries to play tricks with us. So as long as you like keep going and you kind of reassure yourself and go back to your why, then that's kind of how I keep myself on track and not wanting to quit.
Do you have any intentional practices that you do to kind of guide yourself back there when when you're too far off the rails?
I just made a video about this the other day. I mean, whenever I feel like I'm like burnt out or I don't feel like doing this anymore, I just go back to doing things that I really enjoy. Like I go to the gym in the morning to jump start my day. I listen to good music. I'll take a break and just like go for a walk. Like I just gotta do things to for me to enjoy just so I can reset and then come back refreshed. I mean, I'm sure everyone should do that, but that's if you're not doing that, then you're I don't know what you're doing. But that's kind of like my way of resetting is, doing things that I enjoy. So
Right on. How about you, Seann?
I would say just yeah, same as Jacob, just doing stuff that I would enjoy. I always make sure that after each dialing day, I'll take a walk outside and just kind of like reflect on, the conversations that I've ever had today, or like if I didn't, like maybe some things I could do on the back end of like in my CRM, like, maybe changing out my numbers to get increase like my pickup rate, like stuff like that, and
Uh-huh.
like reflecting on, what did happen today and what changes I could make for the next day.
Sure. Yeah. There's always something you can do. That's the sales game, right? You can always get more AP. You can always make more sales. You can always have longer talk time or shorter talk time for that matter. What was the biggest lesson you guys learned in your first 90 days? Like,
sorry about that.
that's all right.
Biggest lesson? That's a tough question. I'm trying to Sean, Sean, you go first.
Uh, Lean onto your upline and trust that they know what they're doing. Because our Corey, our upline Caden, he made these scripts for a reason. He made all these learning modules for a reason because that's where it got him to obviously his point of success. So, it's like, why wouldn't you? learning to like watch all those things
Yeah.
because that I think a lot of what agents they come into this, they think like they're gonna do things like their own way. And like, they might not agree with like what their upline says, so they're just kind of like gonna say like things in like their own words or follow their own structure. But obviously, if their way worked, then they'd be making like the big bucks. But most of the
Yeah.
time, they're not. So I think really just trusting in your upline and their sales process and the way they teach things is very, very important.
Yeah, I think every agent falls into that. I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm a smart guy. I can do this, but ultimately it comes back around. What did you think of something, Jacob?
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Like, I think as long as you're open-minded and coachable, like that is like the recipe for success. Like, because I remember in the beginning, like I was kind of scared to hop on the phones. I think a lot of people are. And I had to realize like you just have to learn by doing. You just have to trip and fall on yourself and get up and just keep failing forward. So for me, it was like I was leaning on my upline, having that transfer of belief from him, like having him tell me that I could do it and just trial and error, just picking up the phone and getting yelled at from a lot of age leads and going from there. And then eventually when once I invested in some Kaboom leads, then it kind of helped out with my conversations. And by having more conversations, you're having more reps and experience, and that's really what helped me build my skill set.
Uh,
So
what skill set or what sales skill took you the longest to develop?
this one's easy for me. For a really long time, up until like probably a month or two ago, I was probably like Mr. Nice Guy. I would die by Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay.
So I was always just trying to be like super friendly, super easygoing, not trying to, overstep any boundaries or anything. But then I got to a point where I just got frustrated with, my production and with myself and, with some of these clients, honestly, because a lot of them can be procrastinators. And I just started like setting my foot down and I was like, listen, like this is what we're gonna do and this is how we're gonna do it. Like this is kind of like once you take that authoritative aspect and you are the one leading the call, that's how it should be. As soon as the client tries to interject and they try to lead the call, then that means you've lost control. So I think at all times you should have authority and guide the client towards clarity towards where they're trying to go. So as soon as I learned to obviously balance empathy and authority and lean a little bit more on authority for me because I'm naturally more empathetic, that's what kind of helped me out a lot.
What was how did you implement that? Was it in stages or did you just approach the phone call like I'm just going to be the cop basically? You're doing this, here's what we're doing. You know what I mean? How did you implement that?
I
Because I'm
literally,
I'm going through the same thing.
yeah, no, yeah. So like literally one day, it literally got to a point where I felt like frustrated with myself, and I was finally like, oh my God, like I need to set my foot down. So I just implemented it one day. I just tried it on a sales call and I was just being more direct. Like obviously in the beginning, like I would obviously talk with the client, like I would, I'm not going to be like an a-hole, but I'm definitely going to tell them what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So I would just tell them like, and this is how the process works. What we're going to do is I have access to all the top A-rated insurance companies across the US. And pretty much my job is just to do all the shopping for us to make sure we find you the best coverage with the most affordable price. And it's based on your age, health, and budget. So, and then as soon as they try to like interject or try to get me, I'm just going to continue going on. Like the idea is that I don't want them to try to hit me with an objection. I'm really just trying to tell them how we're going to do this process and let them know that I'm the one that's going to be leading it.
Are you kind of
So
almost just cutting them off and driving that if they start to talk? You're like, no, not your turn yet.
in the beginning, I will, because the first 30 seconds of the call, they're always going to try and hit you with some sort of objection where they're like, oh, I don't have time, or I didn't fill it out, or I don't, I'm not interested anymore. And you just keep going. Like, you can't stop and let them interject and give you the objection and then they hang up. You just
Yeah.
gotta keep going in that circumstance. And that's something I learned from my upline. Like you just need to get through the information.
Who
Obviously,
was
like
so go ahead.
go-
Sorry.
no, I
Who
was
was
gonna
your
say
upline?
like obviously like when they're pretty adamant about trying to interject, then obviously hear them out. But my upline's my call.
Okay,
Trustworthy. Yeah.
got it. Sean, what's the longest skill you've taken to develop, or which one are you still working on the hardest?
Definitely the authority piece. Like Jacob, I'm usually more of the like this Mr. Nice guy. So definitely working on authority, and that's something I need to work on. But I think also on top of that, pacing with my
Yeah.
conversations, because I noticed that especially when there's parts of the script that I didn't really know as much as I do like right now, I would start to really speed up my words just because I'm so in my head like trying to think of actually like what I had to say versus like being more conversational and actually trying to listen to the client. And that's where I'd lose a lot of my conversations and they end up hanging on me. So that's something I had to learn.
Yeah, I feel like the faster you talk, the faster they hang up. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest like thing. You're trying to race against them not hanging up, and it just has the opposite effect. So,
Hmm.
what part of the business, getting into life insurance and being your own boss and running your own business, not just selling, did nobody prepare you for, or were you not prepared for? Sean, let's go to you first.
I'd say especially in the beginning, the amount of time you'd go without making money, not seeing any funds added to your account. Because, yeah, especially when you're starting out, you think like, oh man, like why isn't this like clicking? I thought this would be like you know, this would come faster than you thought, but like Dana really emphasizes on, this is a skill that you would have to learn like any other like activity like riding a bike, swimming. Like this is something that you'd have to put time into. And for that to improve, you got to be okay with, not seeing any dollars added to your bank account yet. So that's something that I reflected on.
I think a lot of people don't have very much respect for salespeople because they don't really understand that it is a skill. And I think most people couldn't do this. There's a reason it's called 8%, right, Jacob? It's only 8% of people who come into this industry last a year. Is that the stat? So,
Yeah.
like, what were you least prepared for? You had maybe some guidance from your mom, but like, what did you expect that didn't happen, or what was different?
I mean, pretty much, I was pretty similar to Sean. Like, I felt like it was frustrating that it wasn't clicking for me right away. Like, I see all these people online, which I know you probably shouldn't do this, but you see all these people getting into the business and see them writing 10K one day or whatever, and that can like that comparison is the theft of joy, right? So it really can like shoot you down a little bit. And I realize this is like a journey for like myself. So like as long as I'm getting 1% better every single day, then that's improvement. And I also think of it as well as like it's like a rocket ship. I forget where I heard this from, but like it's literally a rocket ship trying to get off the ground. So you're dumping all this fuel into it and it's slowly getting off the ground. And then finally, once you get it in the air, then it starts making sense and it starts flying, right? So right now, I think all of us are just trying to get our rocket off the ground. And that's the hard part. But once you get it in the air, then it's perfectly, it's going. But yeah, that was like a struggle for me as well, just kind of making it click. And then it just happened through reps and repetition and consistency. I think that's my biggest trait that I'm really good at is showing up every single day, whether I put in some activity or a lot. I mean, I'm still showing up and doing it consistently while also applying myself.
Yeah, I've seen that from both of you actually. Jacob, you post consistently on Instagram. I think that's where I first started following you, maybe like in January, and I was like, thief of joy comparison. I've been a professional for years, and here's you writing all this business. I'm like, what don't I get? Why is this so hard? But it's the same thing. So,
Mhm.
I mean, so you were on the other side of the coin, just so you know. But I've seen you guys both show up every day. Sean, you're often one of the first guys in and the last guys to leave at night. Um, it's huge to keep showing up. What do you do when you don't want to? Like there's a day you wake up and like, I don't want to go. A lot of guys would just not, especially when you're to work for yourself. How do you get yourself there?
Go ahead, Sean.
I just learned to just do it regardless, because the other option I see is just doing nothing all day. And that's not gonna make me money. That's not gonna help me reach my financial goals. So yeah, even especially this past week when I haven't really had that much success, I just figured, well, I'm just gonna keep going and keep dialing no matter what. I told myself, I have sectioned out times throughout the day where I am dialing. So it's like, I already pre-planned for the day. Like, what am I just gonna not do it? Because I
Yeah.
know if I don't do it, then I start to build that habit, and then it's gonna add up over the days, next few days, and now all of a sudden I have so much time that I didn't have any money making activities, and it's like how can I want to, a certain level of success if I just didn't show up? So that's something that I still currently work on, and I have made progress, but yeah, just showing up regardless.
So by being on a schedule and not giving yourself permission to kind of stray, you're making sure that you kind of build that discipline so that you always show up no matter what. I actually struggle with that pretty hard because I haven't made any dials today at all because I've been doing other stuff. And sometimes you end up with a day where you got to work on contracting and licensing and CE, but it's probably not an excuse to not still be trying to sell something for at some point, right? Uh, how about you, Jacob?
I think it's a good point in which like you need to create a routine because obviously we're all self-employed and we're like we're our own boss, right? So for me, I have like a consistent routine that I do every single day. So like this might seem a little extreme, but like I wake up at like 5 a.m. I go to the gym. I'm usually there at like 6, and then I come back at 7. I leave my house at 8:30. I come to my office and I'm here at 9. And I'm usually here from 9 all the way till around like 6 or 6:30, and then I go back home and do it all again the next day. But I think by having that discipline, it can come hard for a lot of people. I think um the best way to like build that discipline is by just making it a habit. Like in my opinion, like it's just another muscle that you have to build.
Mhm.
So if you can just make it a habit to where it just becomes something that you don't even think about, it's just part of your routine. Like me waking up at 5 a.m. I used to wake up at noon every single day. And, you know, especially at the beginning of college, like I would wake up at noon and I would just be doing nothing all day. And then I finally just like got to a point where one day I woke up at 8 o'clock, and that was early for me. And then I set my timer back a little bit earlier and I woke up at 7, and then a little bit earlier, 6. And then it's just the slow progress towards that time. And then I finally got to the 5 a.m. So
Nice.
it's not going to happen right away, but if you can build progress to get towards that time, maybe you show up at work at 10 o'clock and you put in 100 dials. Just slowly get better at that each day with small steps, is the way I see it.
Yeah. So you go into an office as opposed
Yeah,
to working at home.
I'm in my office right now.
All right.
I could show you. Look at these posters in the background. I'll even show you.
Uh,
I got we got
Hustle, grind, and excellence.
execution right here.
Execution. There we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
it
So
definitely.
for sure. Uh, what would you say? What's something you know now that would have saved you a ton of frustration in the beginning?
Like for me, I was really scared to like invest in anything. Like in the beginning, I was probably buying like 20 leads for like the week, and that was considered, a lot for me. I was scared to invest like $100, $200. But now, when I talk to a lot of these big people and hear how much they're investing to get these big numbers, I realize I'm not investing nearly enough. Like I need to put in a lot more money to get back a lot more. Because if you're scared, realistically, you think about it, you have to have the belief and the confidence in yourself that you are going to make that money back. That's what we're doing. So if you can put that money in and believe that you can 10x that money, 5x, 3x, whatever, then that's the goal. Because you can see all these people that are putting up big numbers, but if you're not investing the same amount as they are, then you're not going to put up those numbers. So I wish I knew to invest a lot more early on so that I
Yeah.
can get those reps.
Yeah. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, heavy on the, as Dana says, lead abundance. Because I remember, back in April when I started, I bought like 300 leads at once, but I didn't make that same investment for the next 2 weeks. So I was still, running those same leads. And the really scary part about that is you become so like emotionally attached to each lead because you don't have that's all you have. So you start thinking like you have to make sales off these. And that kind of mindset really bleeds into, your state control, as Caden says, and then also because you're so like nervous and so like needy, that's gonna read onto the clients. So
Oh yeah, it comes through totally.
yeah, so investing in your leads is so huge because it when you're consistently investing in leads week to week, you won't have so much emotional attachment because those leads are still going to come in. You're still going to have more people to talk to, new opportunities. So it makes dialing way less stressful because if you get an objection and like they hang up or you're in the process and things you just don't have that sale, you can always lean back on the fact that you have more people to call and you're going to keep investing into those leads.
Okay.
So lead abundance is very, very important.
Yeah. I want to switch gears a little bit. Did you guys kind of going from, you don't need a college degree to sell life insurance, but did you, and I have degrees in computer science and IT and all that stuff and did that for a long time. And looking back, it maybe helped shape who I am as a person and as a thinker and a leader in some ways. But I don't know that it really it probably hurt me in terms of how successful I am in insurance selling. It's just a different skill set. Did first, did you guys go to college? And second, how has that impacted your ability to ramp up in this business quickly?
Jacob.
I'm still in college right now.
Okay.
So I'm full time in college. I have I'm going into my last year, so I'll be a senior. And I probably honestly like I have a full-time schedule. Like last semester I think I did like 18 credit hours and I just balance the two. But wait, what was the question about it? Like
Yeah, like so so you're in school now.
uh,
And how is that college education helped or hurt you in terms of ramping up your insurance business?
well, the degree that I'm in, it's focused towards this. So like it's called Applied Business and Technology Solutions, which is like a
Okay.
fancy name for marketing and sales.
Okay.
So I took a sales class, which really, it honestly helped me because in the class they interviewed, salespeople, sales managers, and kind of gave me an idea. But I think it just helps with like my work ethic too. Like essentially, like when you have all that homework to do and you have to apply yourself in that, I think personally it just helps shape me to get good at this, to apply my work ethic here and pretty much do the same thing. But in terms of education, I mean, it's good for like a um, as like an overall bearing upon yourself. But like, I wouldn't say you need a degree to get into sales. I think it's a communication aspect. Like if you can be
Yeah,
good at talking to people, like you can kill it for sure.
right on. But I do like what you said though, that it's helped with the work ethic and the scheduling your time. When I was in school, I worked full time, but there were some semesters I might take 12 credits, and others I would take 22 credits. And the ones I always took 22 credits were the ones I got the best grades in because I was dialed all the time. And that was just how it worked. When I had
That's
time to slack off, guess what? I slacked off. and it
That
and it bled
yeah,
over.
that's a
So
that's a great point because like even when you that's why I always say I like to be busy because when I'm busy like I'm up and going. It feels like my motor is already running. When I'm having like a slow day or I sleep in a little bit, then it feels like I'm sluggish the rest of the day. So I think your morning can really set how the rest of your day is going to go. So I remember when I would sleep in till like 12, like, man, those are the days that I would do literally nothing. I would sit in bed, I would play video games, like, and that was only like that was like 2 or 3 years ago, you know? So it really kind of yeah, it definitely helps you with your work ethic when especially by keeping yourself busy and, being productive, it can really help get used
when
to being.
you so when you started seeing success in this business, did you ever think, well, I don't need to graduate college because I'm on a good path, or are you still like, I'm going to stay with the degree, I'm going to graduate, and that's only going to help me? What's your thought process on that?
Um, if you asked my mom, she would probably say like you're gonna stay in college. For me, it's for me, it's like not my biggest priority, and that's just me being honest. It's not. Because I really take this business very seriously and I want it to work out. And th for me, this is like the end goal. Like this has to work out. Um, and with college, right now, in my circumstance, I'm like, I have a year left. I might as well just push through and get it done. And it helps with credibility just to know, even if you're a business owner. Um, but yeah, I mean, might as well just get it done. I think I can push through one more year to finish, right?
Maybe you've come this far. Yeah. How about you,
Yeah,
Sean?
exactly.
Yeah, so unlike Jacob, I am a dropout. So I only did schooling for a year and a half, but it, the things that I learned in school, or the things I didn't do, is actually what I learned from now because I didn't have a clear end goal with what I wanted to do. I didn't have any like sense of direction.
Mhm.
A lot of my time in school was just showing up day to day, and just I'll have like work to do, but I just figured I was like, what is this for?
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'll get like a grade and stuff, but I didn't have any sense of like where to go with with like get in school or like getting a degree. So that's how that's how my education kind of shaped the way that I am right now, as far as like my own personal work habits and discipline.
Sure. I I think we've grown up in different times. When I grew up, it was, if you don't go to college, you won't get a good job and you'll be poor the rest of your life. That was the story, and that's what my generation believed. So that was a big reason I went, hoping that I was going to get this awesome job and have the success and whatever. And that was also kind of the time when corporations just kind of stopped caring about employees and layoffs were common. Like the one job I had, I was at Citibank. They said you're not a real Citibanker unless you've been laid off at least twice, and it's nonsense. So I guess I say that to kind of ask you the question on your thoughts on this. The job landscape has changed. You can learn anything you want to without having to pay for it. For the most part, you might have to look harder for it. But school is not the same building block for success that it used to be. But yet, it's still really important in terms of what it can teach you as a person, as a planner, as a work ethic, etc. If you had somebody graduating high school and they wanted to be in life insurance because they've seen you on Instagram and you're being successful, would you still tell them that you should still go to college and do this in the meantime, or what would your advice be?
I think it really depends on the person. Like if you're a really ambitious person and you're a go-getter and you want more for yourself, than just stability, then I would say don't go to college. Like just get into sales. Like this is if you can really like apply yourself and you're willing to like work really, really hard, then sales is the way to do it. Because realistically, college just sets you up to be an employee.
Mhm.
Everyone knows that. Like you're set up to go to college for 4 years, get in a bunch of debt, maybe learn a couple things, and go work a stable income. Like that's what college is, right? And that's also the alternative if this doesn't work out. Like if this don't work out, you can just go, even without a college degree, you can go work, a trade or a blue collar. Like there's options, even if sales didn't work out. So I'm saying like sales is like probably the best opportunity because it gives you the opportunity to be able to fight for something more for yourself and to be able to maybe prove something for yourself or for your family. Or, I mean, that's why we get into it. We feel inspired, we have that belief, and we feel like we obviously want more for ourselves. So it's all about how much you put in, because you could either be the best at sales if you actually put the work ethic in and you apply yourself and you learn it and you get good at it, or you could really suck at it if you are just gonna not take it serious. You're gonna have a plan B. You're going to, just be very wish-washy with it. So that's the way I see it.
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, going off what you said, if you have that ambition, like you're hungry to learn something new and you, you want to take that risk and bet on yourself, then yeah, absolutely get into sales. And if it doesn't work out, there is always school. There is always, working whatever job it is. But yeah, if you want more for yourself and you've seen success that other people have made, and you truly envision that you can get there yourself, then yeah, get into sales as soon as you can.
Like if you think about it, like in April, I submitted in business like 30, almost $33,000 in business. 33,000. Like if you put that into perspective as to what you could be making, I worked at a coffee shop and I wasn't even making that in like a 6 months, you know? And if you put that in perspective, like if you really apply yourself, you can really have some success. So,
I remember when I got a raise, I was just getting into programming and I was in kind of like a internship kind of program at Citibank. And I when I got hired full time, I got a raise to $30,000 a year, and I was ecstatic. And you said you just made that in a month, and you're 21. I just that's amazing that's possible. And I know time 30,000 now is not what it used to be, but that doesn't change the fact that if I had stayed on my current on that same trajectory, I wouldn't be making a ton more, right? I mean, I'd be in six figures, but in a year, you're doing it in 3, 4 months. That's awesome,
right.
incredible. What if you hadn't did you started school first before you started selling life insurance, right, Jacob? What
Mhm.
would you be doing if you didn't get into life insurance?
I had no direction towards what I wanted to do. I think I for sure wanted to be in some sort of business aspect. Like I always had like a drive for like wanting to be in some sort of business or marketing or something like that. Like I knew that was kind of like what I was kind of good at. So, if it wasn't life insurance, I would have still probably gotten to some sort of, because the way I see it, I've always been in like a tip-based thing. Like I used to be a server to where I was hustling for my money there. I actually served illegally. Let's keep that on the record. But I was 17 and I was
This is on
serving
the
at
internet,
Red
you know that,
Lobster.
right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Nobody watches us yet, but it's still on the internet.
It's okay. I mean, I don't work there no more. But yeah, no, it was illegally, and I was hustling for my money, and even as a barista, like I was getting tips, and I was still talking to people and hoping for a tip then. And I worked at Renewal by Anderson, the window company, and I was a sales representative there. So I always knew like I wanted to do something in like commission based,
Mhm.
and it just so happened to be life insurance. So.
Right on. How about you, Sean? What was your plan, or what would you be doing now if you weren't doing life insurance?
Um, I'll probably either be in like the military or like law enforcement,
Okay.
something more hands-on.
Yeah,
But
definitely more authoritative there.
yeah, yeah, probably.
Definitely.
Awesome. If you, what kind of person succeeds in this business? And then on the flip side, what kind of person should not come into this business? Do you have any insight on that? Sean, let's go to you first.
If you view this as a get rich quick scheme kind of deal, and or if you think, oh, let me just like dabble in it and see what I can do. If you put in little effort, you're gonna get little results. This is something that you have to really, really commit yourself to because it's gonna take a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would agree. Like for someone who's not a good fit for, I'd say sales in general or life insurance. I mean, if you're someone who's looking for stability, you want comfortability, you're okay with, just clocking in, clocking out, or, you are comfortable in your environments and you're not willing to grow or chase after your goals or just someone who's not necessarily as ambitious, which is okay. Like you can still there's still people who are okay with, working a 9 to 5. But alternatively, like if you're someone who's coachable, ambitious, you're someone who's a go-getter who wants to do more for yourself in this short life that we have, and you want to set a future that you probably couldn't even imagine until you see it from somebody else. Like if I think if you can believe that and you can understand that and you're willing to put in the very long hours and the hard work because it's not easy, but it can be once you put in the time and the investments, then I think that's the type of person that would just kill it in this industry for
Very
sure.
cool. Yeah. My new favorite saying, and I've been saying it now, I think for like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, some people are probably getting sick of it. Prior host said that this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get rich for sure scheme. You just have to stick with it. So, all right, rapid fire before we close out. Kind of like role play, rapid fire objections. So, real quick, Sean, what's been your proudest moment as a life insurance agent so far?
Making my first sale.
Okay, Jacob.
Probably hitting a $30,000 a month when I didn't think that was possible in the beginning.
That's pretty awesome. What's your biggest obstacle you're trying to overcome right now, Sean?
Establishing authority in my sales calls.
Okay, Jacob.
Um, I would say a little bit of authority, but also hitting the next goal, which is 40,000.
Awesome. Do you find yourself where your goals just keep getting a little higher because you now see what's possible? It's like
Yes.
a natural progression.
Oh yeah. Every time I hit my goal, you have to set a new goal, which is
Yeah,
good. I mean, it
yeah,
shows your progress.
absolutely. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Sean?
Uh, Wife and kids, living in
Okay.
a big house.
All right. How about professionally?
Uh, like
Just
financially
produce,
or
just
producing.
producing, or do you want to build a team?
Definitely a mix of both, producing and running a team.
Okay. How about you, Jacob?
In 5 years, definitely want to build a big team on the life and health side, and probably running my own agency and building that to as high as it can go. Realistically, I want like at least 30, 50 agents, or in 5 years, like 100 agents.
I'm gonna say people underestimate what they can do they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. They severely overestimate what they can do in 1 year. But I mean, 5 years, you can do a lot more than I think David Price said he was in it for like 8 years and he has like 5,000 agents, or maybe I'm misremembering. I'm old. Don't forgive me. All right. What legacy are you guys trying to build through this career? Jacobs, go to you.
Legacy for myself, my family, showing that I could look back one day and realize that what I've built and what I've, done for myself. And honestly, just achieving something that little me would have never thought I could. So,
Very cool. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, leaving something for, the family and, for friends and showing that, I did something that I used to think was impossible for myself.
Awesome. If you could go back to your first day in the business, what advice would you give yourself?
um, I would tell myself just don't quit, keep going. You are just stay open-minded, get in the right rooms, surround yourself with the right people, um, ask as many questions as humanly possible, um, be annoying to the extent, and don't forget to continue to believe in yourself and believe that it's possible for
You know,
sure.
you say get in the right rooms. You're on Trustworthy Financial, but I see you in the Dow room with True Wealth quite often. Is that the
That's
execution?
Yes. I mean, I tell you, like I've you got to go to the boot camps, you go to the conferences. I've built relationships with obviously Clark Stanley and Nick. That's how I'm able to get in these rooms. So I think it's building these relationships that can really take you farther because if you have a relationship with, a certain amount of people who are doing really well, then like what's the word I'm looking for? Like just normally you're going to get to that point. They're gonna
Yeah.
lift you up naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally.
A rising tide raises all ships, I
Exactly.
think.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about you, Sean?
Commit to this business and understand that, it is going to take a lot of work and it's not just going to come like super quick that like you thought it would.
Awesome. Sean, what's one thing you want every young person listening to this podcast to take away from this conversation?
Trust in the people around you and trust that they can get you to where they want to be or where you want to be.
Very cool. Jacob.
Same thing. I think trust in, those that are doing better than you. Be open-minded to those that are, obviously willing to teach you and put their time into you. And believe for yourself that it's possible to, have the life that you desire. So
Awesome. Uh, One last question for both of you. If someone wants to buy a policy from you or come to work with you, how can they find you?
for me, it's Jacob Sells Insurance on Instagram, or I'll even throw out my number. I don't mind. My
Okay.
number is 505-417-2082. And you can just hit me up if you have questions or anything at all.
Awesome. How about you, Sean? Are you on socials much or?
Well, that'll be hard because I don't have much socials, but I'll throw my email out there, seannjoseph.life. So SEANNJOSEPH.LIFE You shoot me an email there.
Got it. Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for being on the show today. It was really fun, and I was excited to do it with you guys because you're where I wish I would have been 25 years ago when I started my career. So it was inspiring. I have a lot of respect for what you guys are both doing and what you're putting up for numbers and what you're producing. And I hope to see your success long after I'm retired from this business. But thanks for listening to the Dialing for Dollars podcast. If you enjoyed the show, like, subscribe, and share it with another agent who's still calling leads at 8 p.m. Have a good one.